In terms of the starting 15 for the Tip game, Seanie, in the backs, we don't know if Owen Cadigan will be back or not. First of all, how much of a loss would Cadigan be? And secondly, how confident would you be in Owen Dillon stepping in there and doing a job?
Look, I suppose Joe Canning was in just sublime form the other night. I mean, even a fit and a strong Owen Cadigan. Canning mightn't have gotten 1-5, but there's no way that Owen Cadigan would have kept him to a scoreless return set. Mm-hmm. So Owen Dillon gave a really admirable performance. He worked really, really hard. He didn't stop. He didn't start fouling or going dirty or anything. He kept trying to play the ball, kept trying to dispossess his man. And at times in the half, he had some good dispossessions on Canning. Look, he is inexperienced at this level. It's a huge step up. Owen Cadigan has last year's good performances behind him. He was very, very good against Tipperary. He was man of the match against Tipperary last year. And the Tip fellas even know that. And psychologically, if Cadigan is fit, and if it's maybe an Owen Kelly or maybe a Lark Cobber on the edge of the square, they'll know, that this fella is a confident, cocky player. He played well against us last year. And psychologically, that'll just do something to the Tip lads. And I think that Owen Cadigan would be a huge loss. I wouldn't necessarily say that Owen Dillon can't perform or anything, but all I'm saying is that it's a huge step up. And for a guy that has, meagre sort of experience at this level at the moment, I won't say it's a huge gamble, because if Dennis Walsh's hand is called, he has to do what he has to do. But Cadigan's loss is going to be monumental if he doesn't make it. Yeah,
and you mentioned earlier on as well, Seanie, that last Sunday it wasn't the most enjoyable day for Sean Og against Galway. He was taken off, of course. I suppose since Sunday people have been asking the questions again about the age profile of this Cork team. Do you think it was just a bad day at the office for guys like Sean Og, or is this year maybe a step too far for them?
I think it was a bad day at the office. I mean, Sean Og's form has been up and down a little bit in the league campaign, but certainly in the last game, I was in Pearse Stadium, he was excellent. He played centre-back. He was really, really good, and, we were delighted because he said, look, return to form. But, it remains to be seen, what Sean Og's future is going to be with regard to the Cork jersey. Is this going to be his last year? Is he going to come back again next year? I mean, he's 32, I suppose, and there's no doubt about it that he must feel it in his legs now, as fit and as great an athlete as he is. Father time eventually catches up with all of us. But at the same time, he's fantastic experience. He's great pride in the jersey. He's great pride in his own sort of performances. And he's got buckets of experience behind him, former hurler of the year. So he will bounce back from it. Whether he's going to be as powerful as he has been in the past, it would be nonsensical to expect him to be the same player as he was, say in 05 and 04 and that, because it's just impossible really, considering, his age. But by the same token, he's still, as I said, fierce pride in his performances. I think he's going to knuckle down now for the next couple of weeks. And I think you'll see a different Sean Og come to Tipperary again.
Yeah, now looking at the forward line, Seanie, we do still seem to be lacking a couple of players. Niall McCarthy, of course, should be back for the Tip game. How do you see the forward line panning out for the championship?
Well, I think that's a banker. I think Niall McCarthy has to start, I have an awful lot of time for Fraggy, and actually I was pushing for him even to start in the forward the last night against Galway. It didn't really work out. He still did okay. I mean, he still chipped in with 2 points from play. But, Niall McCarthy is a seasoned campaigner in the position. It's a fairly, it's a difficult position to play in, and it takes a fair type of player to master it, And Niall McCarthy has played there. He's won All-Stars in the position, and he's got that bit of grit between his teeth again. He was brilliant at the start of the campaign. He played very well for Carrick-2 last year. So I think it's a banker that Niall McCarthy will start centre forward. But the scoring return has been a little bit inconsistent from other players. Obviously, Patrick has been consistently getting scores on the board. I mean, he's getting his frees, and he's been averaging somewhere between 3 and 4 points from play every game, which is a great return. But, up to the Sunday game, I suppose Ben's form had been up and down, but I mean, a bit like Sean Og, he's been there, done that, so there's no fear of him. But, I suppose Isaac has been a bit up and down. You'll be hoping now that he'll bounce back from the disappointment the other night. He's a flair player, he's a player that the crowd, if he gets going, will warm to. He's a great athlete, unbelievable enthusiasm for it, very gamey, he keeps going for it. So I hope that if just Isaac can get that confidence back into his game, particularly with Cusson missing now, that he'll start and he'll do okay. But I would be a little bit concerned, because if you look at the Galway spread of scores the other night, okay, Canning got his 1-5, but they got a great return from Aidan Hart, 3 points, Andy Smith 2 points, Joe Gantley came on, he got 2 points, Damien Hayes was brilliant, he got a goal and a point. And it was a better spread of scores, whereas Cork weren't sort of getting it, and they were very flat in the second half. But I think it's a definite that Niall McCarthy will have to start, and he'll definitely be in Conor O'Mahony's face, Tipperary centre-back, and Conor O'Mahony will know that Niall has the experience in his play at this level before. So I think that's a banker that Niall will start. Yeah, just briefly in terms of Isaac and Michael Cusson, Seanie, you mentioned them there. What's your assessment of where they stand at the moment? Obviously Cusson looks like he'll miss the Tip game because of that injury. There's no doubt that they're both useful players, but it does seem to be just a matter of trying to find the best way to use them. Yeah, I mean, you know what, you can be overcritical of fellas as well, to be honest, Paul. I mean, you have to consider that this is Michael Cusson's first year really at inter-county hurling level. Yes, he's played football before, but it's inter-county hurling and it's his first year. It's only exactly second year. I mean, if you look at other players in the team, I mean, even take Patrick. Say Patrick Horgan is one of the best hurlers in the country at the moment. But it's taken Patrick a couple of years to get up to the pace of the game. Ben O'Connor was in a book written there by Dermot Flynn. He went through all the top players in the country and he picked Ben in the left corner forward position. And reading the article, Ben himself said that when he came on the scene first, it took him a couple of years to adjust to the pace, not necessarily the physicality, just the whole pace of the game. Mm-hmm. So you have to be fair to the likes of Isaac and Michael. They're only kind of in their second season, Michael in his first. And they've done okay, they've done well. I mean, Isaac in some games last year, he was brilliant against Offaly in Tullamore. He got 2 great goals. But there's pressure on him, there's pressure on Cussin. There's expectations from the public that they're big men, the sort of Ray Cullen, Jimmy Barry sort of frame, and that maybe on the edge of the square and out the field a bit that they can, chalk up goals. Cork have been lacking a goal scorer in the last couple of years. Maybe these guys could be the trump cards in that regard. But look, I think we can be a bit overcritical. I think, different stages throughout the league, they've played well. Cussin was brilliant in some games. Isaac was really, really good. Played brilliant on Pádraig Maher for 20 minutes against Tipperary. So look, they'll have to put last Sunday's defeat, put it away, forget about it, and drive on. And I think if Cussin gets fit later in the summer, and if Isaac can just get that confidence in this game, I'd be hopeful enough that he'll do okay against Tipperary.
Yeah, and it is just over 3 weeks away to that Tip game, Seanie. It's going to be a massive day down the park. But after last Sunday, do you see Tip as favourites going into it?
Well, yes, straight up, yes, I would. Come from last year, the fact that they were so close, really, really close to beating Kilkenny, the fact that they have, real sort of talismanic players, say Owen Kelly is one of the best players in the country, and Lark Harbour is just totally explosive, has an unbelievable turn of pace, and ended up getting something like 6 goals in last year's campaign. Seamus Cannon is a great goal scorer, and Pádraig Maher is a fantastic young fullback. Seanie McGrath is just, he's like an old Jerry, or a new Jerry O'Connor. He's just an incredible hurler. They have it all over the field. And, they were a little bit flat themselves earlier in the campaign. I think Liam Sheedy would have been disappointed that they didn't get a victory against Cork down the park. But having said that, they had maybe had a bit of leftovers from last year's championship. And I think come the end of the month, they'll be revved up in a big way for the Páirc Uí Chaoimh encounter. Cork are still sort of developing. I still think that Cork can give them a hard game. But I just think that there's too much experience in the Tipperary ranks at the moment. And they'll be certainly up to claim revenge for last year's defeat against Kilkenny and go a step further. So I would just at the moment have Tip ahead as regards who's favourite for the game.
Yeah, just on Dennis Walsh, Seanie, it's still effectively early days in his tenure as manager. He'll definitely need at least another championship campaign before a judgment can be made on his management. But what have you made of the job Dennis has done so far in terms of preparation and selection and that side of things?
I think it's been incredible, to be honest. I mean, when you consider that the lads had a 7 o'clock game in Thurles against Galway, and then they were down in Ballyduff to play Waterford for the charity game the following night. I mean, these guys are putting in incredible effort. There was another stat in the paper the other night about, the whole underage setup in Cork. I mean, we haven't won a minor All-Ireland since 2001. We haven't won under 21 since 1998. And, it's a fair tribute to the Ben O'Connors, the Jerry O'Connors, the Sean Oakes, and that they are still playing and they're still going in their 30s. And you know what? There isn't a whole pile out there at the moment to replace them. And, if Dennis has, a huge pool of talent to dip into, I'm sure that he might be able to look at the options. But I mean, Michael Walsh has done really, really well and did well when he came on for Sean Oak the other night. But Sean Oak is still a fantastic player, and Dennis Walsh definitely needs him in his setup. So it's not that there's a huge pool of talent available to Cork, and Dennis is doing the best of what's available to him. I mean, okay, this is an old term that is spring up overnight in Cork, but they don't really at the moment. I mean, it's just we haven't had a huge filter of players coming through from successful underage teams winning All Ireland. So, on that, I think Dennis has done really, really well with what's available. He went through a brilliant league campaign, eked out great results against Tip and Kilkenny when both teams were coming back at them hard. They showed great commitment, and he's putting in a massive effort, really, really massive effort. He came in at a difficult time last year, and he finished off the campaign really, really well. And I don't know if there's an All Ireland in Cork this year. There might be a Munster Championship in them. But, he just needs to build up spirits now for the next couple of weeks. And please God, he'll get him in the right frame of mind for the Tipperary clash.
Red FM. Cork's Red FM.